After having set up a few different villages in Manor Lords, I found that one of the features I enjoyed most was the third-person mode, which enabled me to walk around my creations, adding to the game's immersion. However, it still leaves a lot to be desired. You can't actually use it to interact with any of the villagers or enter any of the buildings. I'm sure that Slavic magic will inevitably deliver these improvements, but what if you want to experience the world of Manor Lords firsthand today? To do this, I fired up trusty old Minecraft, also known for being one of the most modded games in history, and started adding mod after mod, finally achieving this beautiful result. So how did I do it? It's actually relatively simple, as there's only 3 key items required to make this work. The main mod I have in play is Conquest Reforged, which completely overhauls vanilla Minecraft's aesthetics. It changes the textures of existing blocks, but also adds thousands more, including quarter blocks, vertical slabs, and 8th blocks, all of which allow you to push your builds to the next level when it comes to detail. So far in this village I only have a handful of structures, most of them being houses inspired by the level 1 burgage plots from Manor Lords. I used yellow plaster blocks along with various wooden items for the timber frames that are so typical of late medieval housing. The roofs are made from thatch blocks and are either of the jerkin head kind or standard hipped. At the rear of every house there is of course a garden that has been put to good use. I've got chicken coops, a goat shed, and vegetable plots. I kept the interiors very simple, seeing as these are merely peasant houses. Other than the beds, the only other furniture is a table with a candle, which is the only nighttime light source for the entire house. To ensure there's plenty of sunlight coming in during the day, I made sure to have numerous windows. Medieval life was obviously a lot darker than what we are used to now, which is why I think it's realistic to have a single light source at night, although a fireplace would have been more historically accurate than a candle, considering this is a peasant house. I deemed a fire too much of a risk for our villagers though. I spent a lot of time thinking about the floor. Although there are many examples of medieval floors from churches and castles, it was less obvious to me what this would have looked like for a normal house. After doing a bit of research, I found that for peasant housing especially, the floor was just beaten earth, sometimes covered with rushes. To simulate the beaten earth, I picked the clay mud wall block and placed some fallen willow leaves on top to match the rushes. The houses are laid out along the main road, with some farmland on the other side. If you've watched my video on historical village layouts for Manor Lords, you'll recognize that this is a Hagen-Hufendorf type layout. Next to the farmland I have a hitching post, where the village horse is kept, as there are no oxen in Minecraft unfortunately. And finally we have a storehouse, where the villagers can store all the goods they've been working so hard to produce. Talking about the villagers, they're not the vanilla Minecraft ones. With the amazing Minecraft Comes Alive mod, or MCA for short, the villagers become a lot more realistic, as they have their own names, personalities, and feelings, and can even have a bit of a conversation with you. In addition, they can form families and have children, enabling the village to grow organically. Much like vanilla villagers, the MCA versions can also take up professions, so long as the right profession block is provided. A certain percentage of them will take up arms and become guards, patrolling the village and getting rid of any hostile mobs. The mod also comes with a ranking system, where higher ranks give you progressively more control over the village, allowing you to set taxes and birth limits for example. To get higher ranks, you need to increase the villagers' opinion of you, whilst ensuring that your village contains certain types of buildings. If you do choose to use MCA in a Manor Lords inspired world, bear in mind that the villagers' default skins sometimes look a bit too modern. This can be fixed by using a special resource pack, which I've linked in the description. The final piece of this Minecraft setup is the absolutely gorgeous custom map. It's called Riverwood Haven, made by the very talented Red Ranger Builds. The map is centered around a meandering river, but also features some high mountains and cliffs along with lush vegetation. I particularly like the road network that comes with the map, as it perfectly mimics the King's Roads in Manor Lords. It's a perfect map on which you can build out several villages and establish a trade network between them. Bear in mind that the custom map is made for Conquest Reforged, and the terrain itself contains the mod slabs to make it look smoother. Although this is indeed very beautiful, it can pose an extra challenge when you're building, as you will need a full block base, either by digging down or piling up. Similarly, the villagers will occasionally struggle with pathfinding. To make this work, I put down vanilla Minecraft path blocks to guide them to their houses and workstations. If you enjoy recreating realistic historical settings in Minecraft or any other games, please like and subscribe for more.